It's your open source advocate, and I'm back with another video, and today we're going to talk about Music Assistant. Now, I've shown you lots of ways to stream your music from your own collection to your devices over the years. I've shown you Apache, and I've shown you Navidrome, and I've shown you several others, but this one really caught my attention, and it caught my attention a while back, and I just hadn't had time to sit down and set it up. I really wanted to show you what this thing can do because it's amazing, and it honestly helped me revitalize a lot of the equipment that I've bought over the years. And I'll explain what I mean as we get into the video. But Music Assistant is powerful. It is awesome. If you're somebody who has a huge collection of music and you wanted a really good way to play that, but maybe you also have online subscriptions. You wanted to include those like Tidal or Apple Music or I don't know what all. There's tons, okay? There's tons of them out there. I don't use them, so it's hard for me to say what they are. But I know there's a bunch. Then I think this is going to be something you really like. And the cool part is it's also been set up to be useful with Home Assistant. So there's all kinds of automations you can do with music. As this thing's scrolling by, it's grabbing my attention because I keep seeing Sade on one of those things, and I used to have the Sade album. It was a really great one. So this is Music Assistant. I love their logo. It's like little albums that are stacked next to each other, but it's an M and an A. I mean, we're so smart, so good. All right, so I want to talk about this. I want to show you how to get it set up and running, but first I'm going to go through the overview and the user interface for you. I know a lot of you guys prefer it when I go in that order, so I want you to kind of see what it can do. But it can actually pull in music from Plex, from Jellyfin, from all kinds of different places, and it's really, really awesome. So I want to show you how to get it just set up standalone today. I may go back and talk about how to do the Home Assistant integration later, but I haven't really gotten that down to where I feel comfortable with it yet either. So for today, I want to do standalone because it's still just such a powerful, awesome thing. So stick with me and we're going to get into it right after this. I just want to say thank you so much to all of my patrons over at Patreon. I truly appreciate your continued support. I can't tell you how much it means to me. We all go through hardships at times, and I totally understand that. But man, that you guys have stuck with me, it just means the world. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. For everybody that does buy me a one-off over at PayPal, I mean, just means the world. And I try to message you. I don't know why PayPal doesn't let me message you. It is so weird, but I just want to say thank you. I hope that you're seeing these things and hearing that I do appreciate it. I really, really do. It means the world to me. For everybody that subscribes, thank you so much. It helps the channel grow and it helps get the word out about open source software to people who may not realize there's amazing open source alternatives out there to the things they've been using and depending on for years. And today we're talking about one of them. If you haven't already done so, go down and click on the subscribe button, click on that thumbs up, and click on that little bell icon so you'll get notifications about new videos as they're coming out about this amazing open source world we live in. Without further ado, let's get into Music Assistant. So their site is really good. I just want to be clear. This is such a great layout right here. They've got some great documentation, but I'm going to jump over. I'm going to open up my actual Music Assistant install that I installed just to see how this worked. And I'm going to kind of go through it with you guys. Now this runs on 89, is that right? 80? I'm trying to remember the port right now. Yes, so 8095 is the port. This is such an easy thing to set up. I actually couldn't see the port. I had to kind of go check it out and figure it out, but it was great. So one of the things about this, it's got all of my albums in here. And if I go over to albums, you'll see that I've searched this down. So I was looking for myself here, but look, it gets my album art, which is great. So I copied a bunch of my stuff over to this server from my Navidrome server. And I'm actually running Navidrome here now as well. But you can see all of the albums I've got. It's got this great album art. It tries to go find the album art if it can. If it can't, it just kind of fills things in. So, I mean, you know, A1, A2, I mean, it's kind of, you know, just going through. But, I mean, it does get a lot of the album art. Now, I had a lot of it already, but I think it also goes out and tries to pull some because I think it pulled some updated album art that even I didn't have yet. So you can see, now these are not full albums. These are just songs, but this is the albums that the songs came off of. And it's just a really, really nice thing. Now, also you can look at just the tracks. So you can see all of the tracks that you have. It has search. So search is built in. So if I go search for something like the word done, okay? Come undone. The dead is done. Undone. What I've done. So it finds things very fast. It's got a very fast search which I really like. It can really help you find the particular track you might be looking for. It also does playlists. I haven't really set up too many playlists. It's got 500 random tracks. These are just the defaults, so it's just random artists from your library. Recently played tracks as well, so it's really nice. It does some really, really cool stuff. If we continue looking, you've got just audiobooks. Now, I don't have any audiobooks yet, but I plan to put some in here so that I can use this for that. And then it's got podcasts. Now, I've heard that the podcast support isn't great, but I'm going to try it out to find out because I listen to quite a few podcasts as well. It does have radio, which I haven't set up yet, so it does have some options for that, for some online radio. And then finally, of course, you can browse. Now, you've got settings, and there's quite a few settings you need to understand and know about. So the first thing is music providers. So I've got the music provider, music assistant is by default here, and you want to leave that on. But here's the other one. It's my file system. So when I went in, I wanted to set up my file system as a music provider. So I'm going to go in here into configure so you can see what's happening. So when I hit add as a music provider, I picked file system, and then it just kind of came up and said like, hey, current name for this provider entry and enable this provider entry. And it was very straightforward. So once you get past that, you've got a little bit of information you need to provide. So their path is /media. So that's on the inside of the container. So I just had to put that in there. I didn't have to do anything special. I just left it like that so it would be really simple. So I'll show you where I set that up when we do the Docker Compose setup in a little bit. And it's just configure like what it is. It's music, and I just left it default. Use various artists if things aren't set, but you can change this to kind of whatever you want. I just left it on the default there. And then ignore playlists with album tracks within the album folders. I just left that as default as well. And then you click save and you're done. Now I've already got that set up, but this is how you add music providers. Now you can add providers that are not your local file system. You can add all of these providers: Apple Music, Audible, Audio Bookshelf, Deezer. I don't know what that one is. You've got two different files. Oh, this one's a file system for Samba, I believe, or a remote share. You've got Gpotter, iBroadcast, iTunes Podcast Search, so you can get your podcast this way. Jellyfin Media Library, so if you already have your stuff on Jellyfin, you can go and just add that to it. Open Subsonic Media Server Library. So I could have probably just used the Navidrome setup to do this, but I didn't. Plex Media Server Library, podcast RSS feeds. I mean, you've got so many options here, and you've got like this whatever this is, I don't know. You've got Spotify, SiriusXM, radio browser. So all these things, SoundCloud, Tidal, TuneIn Radio, YouTube Music. So if you subscribe to any of these things or multiple of these things, you can bring them all together inside of this system along with your local music and create playlists from those things where you have those options. I think it's really awesome. So that's providers, that's music providers. Now, player providers is where this thing kind of won me over, because I moved where I live to move my parents in with my wife and myself. And this was before the pandemic happened. They were getting older. They were in an apartment. My dad didn't like it. My mom thought it was fine, but my dad didn't like it. He didn't have a yard. He didn't have a place where he could go and do things, and he wanted to do things. So we moved down here. We bought a house. We moved them in with us. And one of the things I was worried about as their health just, started getting a little worse over time was them being able to contact us for help across the house even. I didn't want them having to come all the way across the house to get us in the middle of the night. I wanted them to have a way to contact us. And Apple happened to come out with the HomePod Mini and the HomePod, and they showed this really cool thing that said, you can notify everybody in your house through kind of like the telecom system of these HomePods. And I thought, oh, that's perfect. So I got a bunch of them. I set them up in my office, in my room, in my parents' room, in the living room, in the kitchen. And I showed everybody how to use it, and my mom really took to it because she was able to call us in the middle of the night when she needed something for my dad. He couldn't always remember how to use it, but he eventually got it to work as well. But so I have a bunch of HomePod Minis. Now, that's great. I use an iPhone, which is also great. But sometimes I just want to play music on my computer because I'm sitting right here. I just want to play music from here and have it go to the speakers that are good. My computer speakers aren't great. I have headphones, but I don't always feel like wearing headphones either. I want to be able to send music around the house and have whole home audio if that's how I feel like doing it. That is what Music Assistant gave me. So I give you that whole backstory because that's what they gave me. You see this AirPlay? I just went in and added that as an option. So it shouldn't be in the list because I've already picked it, but you have Chromecast. You have Blue Sound, whatever the heck that is. You have Fully Kiosk Browser. You have Home Assistant if you have Home Assistant media players. You have Snapcast, Sonos for you Sonos users, Sonos S1. You've got those options. I mean, look at this, Squeeze Light. You got so many really cool options, but AirPlay was there, so I picked it. And really, I didn't have to do anything. It just kind of went out and found everything. So even if I go to configure, there's really not a lot to configure. It was like enable it and click save. I mean, that for me is just the winner. Now you have local playback with Music Assistant, and then your player groups. You can also create player groups. So it kind of generated one for me, but it creates this player group for me. So I've been playing stuff, and I've been playing it in this speaker in the background. So I'm going to show you how that works. You'll probably be able to hear it. I don't have it super loud, but I mean, I'm sure we could turn it up as well. But it does work pretty well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and show you the album setup for this whole thing. Now, I haven't gotten... this took me 15-20 minutes to get set up. I really thought it was going to be like an all-day project. It took me like 15 or 20 minutes to get it set up and like everything working, which is just, for me, awesome. And the best part is I'm going to be able to give this to my family and let them set up music and set up different ways of hearing their music and different ways of putting it to systems. Now, my daughter's an iPhone user. She wears her earbuds literally all the time. I have to yell at her about take out your earbuds sometimes because she's not wearing them in a place that makes any sense. But my wife, myself, I like to hear music on speakers, just the way I grew up, I guess. I don't know. So we've got all these things. I'm going to go back. Maybe I'm not clicking the right thing. Oh, yeah, everything's at the bottom. I'm going crazy. So I'm going to go back to my albums, and I'm going to search because I have my own album. I'm not a great music writer, but I love just making music now and then. So here's Brian McGonagill's album. That's me. This is my music. I wrote this. This is not music that is copyrighted by anybody, just so everybody knows. This is the way that I've done my music my whole life. Let's see. I want to get the one called Done, and I believe it is this one. Yes. So this is a little bit better. So I've got these different songs that I've made. Okay. So I don't know how I name them. I just came up with crazy stuff. These are all like 15 or 20 years old at this point. So yeah, let's do this one. And it's going to say, hey, you clicked on this. Do you want to play it? And you want to play it on this particular speaker, which this is my iPod mini that's back behind me, not iPod mini, a HomePod mini that's back behind me. It's already picked it. So I can say play now, play the album from this point. So it'll play through the rest of the songs if I do this, and, and cue the options. So I can also go here and see like play now, play next. So I get these different options that you would really expect from any decent music player these days. So I really like this. I'm just going to do play now. It's going to start trying to stream that song. And I'll turn it up just a little bit so you can hear it. Maybe that won't control the volume on that one. I'll move over there. Now, I love that I can get that to play through my speakers. So I'm going to pause that. Again, that is my music. I own it. I'm the one that owns the copyright. So hopefully YouTube won't hit me for having that because it's mine. But you get the idea. That is playing through my HomePod back there. Now, I could also tell it I want other sounds, other systems to do this. Let me go back in there. I don't know what I did to make it go backwards, but let me go here and let me actually just say this, and I know you can change what speakers it's coming out of as well. Let's go down here to players. Oh, right here, sorry. On the player page, you can go here to the speaker and you can click. You can see this is going to play through my HomePod mini called Office Brian. But I can also extend this down and I can see, here's my wife's iMac. Here's her other iMac. Here's the HomePod mini from the girls' room. Here's my mom's HomePod mini. Here's the TV room HomePod mini. Here's the master bedroom HomePod mini. I told you I bought a lot of these things. And here's my wife's HomePod mini in her office. Now, not all these are connected, so that's why this one's grayed out. But you can see this is the one that's connected. But I can actually set these up to play in unison with each other. So I can go up here and I can say, synchronize with another player. So I can say, synchronize with these other devices around the house. And again, I'm getting whole home audio. I think that is amazing, and it's a synchronized sound. So as I'm walking around, I've got it going through the whole house. It's not something where I leave the room and I don't hear things anymore. And especially my podcasts. I love to listen to podcasts on these things, but I walk in and out of the room all the time because I'm working on other stuff at the same time. I think this is amazing. So I just kind of wanted to point out that you can also do that kind of setup, and it's right here where you're playing the music from, which is great. I think this is just such a cool system. Now, getting the setup is not difficult. It is just absolutely amazing to get it running and have your own music that you own able to be played through these devices. Now, you may not have HomePod minis or HomePods. You may have Sonos systems, or you may have Chromecast type systems, or I don't know what all you might have, but whatever you've got, if you've been wanting to hear your music through decent speakers, I cannot tell you how much this just really, really has thrilled me. So I wanted to share it with you. All right, enough of the overview. Let's get this thing installed so you guys can play with it and go through and learn about it as well. This video is sponsored by me. That's right. Did you know that I wrote a novel? I did. And it's a science fiction novel. It follows a guy named Dave, who's a pretty normal guy with a normal job, who happens to fall into a little bit of a less normal job, but doesn't realize it. He goes on some incredible adventures. He has some really cool things that he has to get done. It's just a passion project. I think you're going to love it. It's an action. It's an adventure. It's just so much fun. I understand if you don't want to do Patreon or PayPal, but maybe you'd like to get something out of some money that you're donating back to me. So by buying a book, you're paying me back, and at the same time, you're getting something out of it. You can jump over to Amazon. I'll have links in the description. You can jump over and get the ebook, the paperback, or the hardcover. I'll have links for as many countries as I can get links for, so no matter where you are, you can get a copy of the book. It is English only. It has not been translated. I just do want to put that out there, but I hope you'll get it. I hope you'll enjoy it, and let me know that you enjoyed it as well. Now let's get back to the program. All right, we're going to set up Music Assistant inside of Docker. If you're not sure what Docker is just a virtualization system. Just virtual machine, any of those other things that create a virtual machine. Docker does that, except it does it in a really, really small intentional virtual machine that is extremely efficient. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up the file that we need for Docker, but first we're going to set up a folder. So I've got a parent folder here that I've already called Docker, and I've got other systems running in it. So I'm doing ls, and you can see here I've got Invoice Ninja, Metabase, Picture, and Write Freely that I run already. And I'm just going to create a new one. So I'm going to do mkdir music assistant like that, and I'm going to cd into that folder I just created. I'm going to do nano compose.yaml just like that, and nano is just a text editor. So I'm going to copy the text that I've got here for this compose file, and I'm going to paste it in. We're going to go back up and we'll look at it. So we've got our services, and our services Music Assistant Server is what it's called. And it's going to pull down the image we need from the GitHub container repo, Music Assistant Server, and latest. The container name is going to be called Music Assistant Server. That's fine. Restart unless it stopped. I like that. That's fine. Now the one thing is, this must be on the host. The network mode must be on the host. Now you saw that it used 8095. So if you already have a container running on 8095 on the host, you don't want to set this up this way. You want to create a new virtual machine or a new server and set this up. But be aware, it does have to be on the host in order for it to work and be able to find all those other services and for the networking to work right now. I hope that they'll address this in the future where we can do some port mapping and stuff, but right now, network mode host. So there's a couple of volumes. The first volume is / music assistant server / data, and that's going to map to the inside of the container data. So this creates a folder on your host machine where you're installing this inside of the current folder, and then it maps inside the Docker container to /data, and it's fine. Now the other one that I have is this one. This is where my actual music is. So my music is in this path /mount /media store /media /music, but that's on my music server that I was showing you a while ago. On this server where I'm running this, I don't have that. So we would be setting this up just pretending like we don't have local media. But if you do have local media, you want to set this up where that local media is at. You want to give it the path to whatever folder your music is stored in, just the top level parent folder. And you want that to be mounted as /media inside the container. That's how I made that happen on that UI earlier, okay? So I'm going to get rid of this line right now, but you would need this if you're trying to mount your local media. So I'm just going to hit that. Control K gets rid of that line. Now it needs a couple of capabilities. So we say add the capabilities for sysadmin. It needs this for the networking side. And then DAC read search. Don't worry about it. It just needs it. It's okay. Security OPT. So we're going to put AppArmor unconfirmed. And then environment. So it's got a few things. I don't need this default comment, but it's just for you to know. You can set your log level to info. You can set it to critical, error, warning, info, or debug. It's really up to you, but it's by default set to info. Info is a pretty low use of logging, so I would say just leave it at that unless they tell you, hey, we need you to change that and restart the server and make this happen again, and we'll get the logs from you, okay? Otherwise, just leave it as it is. That is all there is to this application. It's very, very straightforward and very simple to get set up. So I'm going to save this with Control O. I'm going to hit Enter, Control X to exit, and then I'm going to say Docker Compose Pull. It's going to pull down the image that we need for the Music Assistant server. Just give it time. It takes a few seconds for it to pull this down. You can see this one here. It's extracting it already, and there we go. It's done. Now we're going to start the server with Docker compose up-d 2 ampersands docker compose logs-f. So it's going to go out and it's going to start trying to create this Music Assistant server for us. And then it's going to show us the logs. Once that thing creates and starts, it's going to start showing us the log output of the server starting up, if there is any. There it goes. It's giving us some logs. And we see a little bit of information here, but it says, hey, so far I don't see any major errors, which is good. And it says server, starting the web server, and this is how I knew it was on port 8095. And the base URL it says is right there, so we can see that that goes all the way around, and it shows me the IP address of my server with that. So I can just use the control key and click, and that should open up. It does, and I'll bring it over. And here's my Music Assistant server. Now, there is no login, there is no protection around this server out of the gate, so just be aware of that. Like, this is literally what it does. It's a server. It is meant for serving music. If you want to put this out on the public internet, you would definitely want to put something in front of it like authentic or pangolin or both. It's really up to you how you set that up, but just know that there's no login, no user profiles, anything like that. Alright, so we're going to add a music provider, and we've got several options here. I've got a Subsonic library and a Jellyfin Media server library. Let me do the Subsonic library, and I will go here and I'll put in my username and my password and the base URL, and we've got a port and a server path. I don't need to put that, so we'll just move on down, and we're just going to hit save. And you can see there that it picked it up. So if we scroll up, we'll see it's got it right here. And if we look, it's actually running through trying to find that music. So it's actually running on this machine that we're literally, well, no, it's actually running on my network, but it's the music from the machine we were just listening to a while ago. So this is going to go through and try to find music. It's going to kind of refresh, but it's pulling it from a remote source, and you can always use this to actually continue refreshing in the background. So we've added a music source. Next thing you want to do is add a player source. So we're going to add this player source. And again, I've got AirPlay, but if you have these others, you can use that. So I'm just going to use AirPlay. It's going to go out there and try to find the AirPlay information after I do this. Now there's advanced settings. This is just telling it where this is coming from. You don't have to change anything there, so just leave it, and we're going to hit save. And you'll see that now I've got AirPlay listed as one of my player providers. And if I click here, I can configure it, I can disable it, I can see the documentation for it, I can delete it, or I can reload it. So if we continue down, we've got metadata providers, which I really like. So it's got Music Brains, it's already got these set up. If you want to add another one, you can, but it's not something you have to do. And then if you've got any plugins you want to use, you would put in the plugin providers here as well, but we're not doing that right now. So if we go look at albums, let's just see what it's pulled already. So it's already pulled all these albums from my Navidrome server, which is literally the same place that we pulled the other ones from. And again, if I go search, hopefully it's got that one. No, it doesn't have it yet. So it's still probably pulling that in. I don't want to play one of these just because I don't want to get a copyright strike. So I got to be a little bit careful. You can see I have a varied taste in music for sure. But I like a lot of different stuff. It's just, music is such an important part of every culture in the world. I think it's amazing. So yeah, I listen to the things that I like. That's how it works. Let's see, tracks. Let's just see if I can find the track. Maybe that's easier. I've got the accompaniment side. It doesn't have the other one pulled in yet. So it's still working. It's still pulling stuff over from that server. I don't have a ton of songs. I've got, a couple of thousand maybe. There's people who have 80,000, 100,000, 300,000 songs. They have like every piece of music ever written, I guess. But no matter how large your library is, this will deal with it. It's really, really powerful, and it's really, really amazing how good it is at what it does. I can't begin to tell you like how amazing this is. So you kind of get the same idea. So it's only got this one song so far. It'll pull in the others as it goes. But we could play this one. And again, if I click on it, I'm going to get play. And it's going to ask me where do I want to play. And look at this. It's got all of my HomePod minis ready. So I'll play it here in the room. It should start playing, I believe. I see it loaded up. It says no items in the queue. Oh, play now. There it goes. So I'll walk back over real quick. It's very quiet. Alright, so that is playing, and it's playing just fine. And that is streaming from my remote server in this case, instead of streaming the music from my local system. So very fast to get it set up. Very easy to get it set up. You just have to kind of know the information that you're going to want to have. So again, that comes back to their documentation. I do want to talk about their documentation. I can stop following the logs now. Let's see. There we go. And let's go back to their documentation page, because this is really important. Whenever you're setting different providers, you're going to want to go through their documentation to just check out like, how do I set these up? And here's their list of providers. So here's their Apple Music provider. It's going to tell you subscription free, no. So you have to kind of check this out, make sure you understand these things, but you're probably already subscribed if you're looking for the information on how to get these things set up. So they give you all of the instructions that you need. Now, if you're going to do this part where you're trying to grab this token, you probably need to use the Chrome browser. I use Firefox. It doesn't allow me to grab this token, but I'm sure if I use Chrome or Chromium, it probably would. But just be aware, like if you're doing something like Apple Music, you may need to grab a token out of your browser so that you can get it to authenticate you and then get to the music that you're wanting to get to with these other providers. It's not super difficult. It's just not something that I'm interested in doing. So definitely get out there and try this out. They've got great directions. Go check out all the instructions for the different providers. It'll help you get everything set up and running. Get out there and get Music Assistant set up and running. I really think you're going to like it. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, like, subscribe, tell your friends about it so they can come along on the open source journey with us, and I'll talk to you next time.